Hello my dear friends, let us continue learning. Now in this session you have to understand a very important topic with respect to Java, which is the documentation of Java or Java docs. If you ask me, sir, what is this documentation of Java or Java docs? Certainly you will understand. Please do take the heading as below that. Continue. As every software would have a documentation, even Java in bracket JDK, close the bracket, as a software also has a documentation. Full stop. Continue. This documentation can be used to know the things present in Java, in bracket JDK, and how to use the software Java, in bracket JDK. Yeah. If you will ask me, sir, what is this Java's documentation or Java docs that you are telling? So many things you have dictated, nothing we have understood. Not so complicated, very simple, but very important. See, now you are developing a software. Probably CS and IS students, actually they are developing a software and they are calling it as their final year project. Yes, your final year project, CS and IS students. It's a software. I don't know whether you know it or not, but yes, you are developing a software. And other branches students also, you are developing some project. EC and EEE students might have a hardware project, and of course it might be a mixture of hardware and software. Only hardware you would not be developing. Some code you would have written for that also. Ultimately, you are developing a software. Now, once you develop a software, or once you develop a product or a project, whatever it is, don't you think so by the end of that completion of the product or the project, you would provide a documentation, or your college will ask you for the documentation, which most of you are preparing now. That is what you are doing probably. Now you are in that phase only. Documentation. Project reviews are coming to the end. You are about to submit the project documentation. That is what your college people are asking, if I am not wrong. Now I don't know how you are giving the documentation. Might be a soft copy of the documentation you might be giving, I don't know. But when we were studying, because there was no pandemic like this, we used to prepare, I don't know, nearly somewhere around 200 pages of documentation of the software, whatever we have built. And we have to bind it with a particular color hard bind. There is one color allocated for each department. I hope you know it according to your university guidelines. And one copy of the documentation to prepare, to take the printout, color printout. For binding, one copy of the documentation would have taken nearly, I don't know, somewhere near 200 or 250 rupees. I don't know. Somewhere there I have spent literally one copy. Like that, 5 copies have taken. One for me, because that is what my university has told, one for me, one to send to the university, one to give in the department, one to give in the library, one to give to the external examiner. 5 copies of which I have taken, and of course not even a single time I have opened it and I have seen it, like however you would do. Jokes apart, you are building a project or a product, you are building a documentation for that. Am I not correct? What will you have in that documentation? A big question. What will you have in that documentation? Whatever you are preparing now, what will you have? I know you would have never read it. What will be there inside that you would have never read? Someone would have given, you would have taken. I am not telling all 100% students would have done it. At least 90% of the students who is listening to this lecture from whichever the state you are, irrespective of the state, irrespective of the university, you would have not seen anything in the documentation. Someone would have given, you would have taken. You would be actually seeing whether alignment is proper or not. You would be actually seeing whether your HOD name is properly written or not, your principal name is properly written or not. All these things you would be seeing, whether index is present or not, whether 60 pages to 180 pages it is there or not. All these guidelines, whether it is present or not, you will be seeing. But actually speaking, your documentation should have or should describe what your project is doing. First thing. Secondly, if your project is a hardware project or a software project, whatever it is, how actually one should use that hardware, how actually one should use that software, what and all components are present, each component what it does, the descriptions you should have. That is what your project documentation should have. In detail it should have. In detail it should have. Say supposing you are building a software, what and all that software can do, functionalities. To achieve that, what code you have written, how that code would work, in that code what and all extra things you have bought from outside and used, what language you have used, in that what components you have used, everything literally pin to pin of that software, whatever you are building should be present in that documentation. So, if I am a person who want to understand your project, I have to take that documentation, I have to read it. Then only I can understand, or I should understand, or I will understand for that matter. That documentation is used for understanding your product. That documentation is used for knowing how to use your product. Like how every software, not only you in your college, once you go to the IT industry, say supposing you become a software developer, you develop one software, for that also documentation would be prepared. For that also documentation would be prepared. How to work with that software, what and all you have to use that software, what you should not do, everything would be present in the documentation. So ultimately my point is very, very simple. Either it is a hardware product or a software product, documentation would be there. Your JDK or your Java programming language, your JDK is also a collection of softwares, correct? You remember the first week's lecture? Your JDK is collection of many softwares. Your Java compiler, your JVM, your JRE, in JVM multiple components, in JRE multiple components. Java libraries, in Java libraries many inbuilt classes, many inbuilt packages. All this is present in your JDK. How that JDK one should be using? What and all present in that JDK, everything is documented and it is given in the form of Java's documentation. Like how every software will have documentation, your Java as a software also has a documentation which specifies what and all that has and how to use, if at all you want to use it. Oh really sir, how to get that documentation sir? Is it in the hard copy? Hard copy, no one has developed it. In the PDF you can get, in the PDF or in the static HTML pages which is zipped you can get. PDF if you will get, it will be 2000 to 2500 pages of documentation. Very huge. Java is very huge software. JDK is very huge software. So what we will do is static HTML pages documentation we will download. What is that static HTML pages format? How would it look? Probably like this it would look. How to download the Java documentation? First we will see. I will open the browser in the computer. I will go to Google. There in the Google, I can directly give you the site, but how you will download, like that I am showing, that's it. In the Google, I would just type Java documentation download. That is how you would type, no? That's it, Java documentation download. See that first link, Oracle site. Click on that. It will directly take you to the documentation site. There you can see Oracle. Not only that, you can see there the documentation link you are seeing there. You have to click on that. Now, once you click on that, it will ask you to accept some license agreement. Just accept it. That's okay. Accept it. Now, click on download. See, it will ask where to save in my computer. I would save it in the H drive. Probably I will create one folder called as Java Docs. In that folder, I would save the documentation. Done. See, downloading completed. Done, downloading completed. I would close this browser. I would go to that place wherever I have downloaded. Probably double click on this PC. Go to H drive. In the H drive, you can see I have the Java Docs. In the Java Docs, you can see there I have that documentation. It's a zip file. You have to unzip it, extract it. So I would right click, extract here. Extraction process is going on. Look at it, extraction process going on. I don't want to waste your time. I will fast forward this process, fast forward it. Done. Extraction is done. You can see one folder docs there, correct? If you will double click on the docs, many folders are present. At the end, you can see index, correct? Double click on that index, your browser would open. I am making the point clear. You need not have internet connection from now. For downloading, you need internet connection. From now, just because the things are opening it in the browser, no internet connection is needed. All the static HTML pages, it is present in your computer. From your computer only this is opening. Oh, okay sir, fine. What is this? What is this? I would tell you. Look at that. You have something called as JRE. Beside that JDK. Look at it. Beside that Java Docs. See there, you have something called as JVM below. Above you see in the first line Java, Java C, Java Docs, etc. Next, if you can see, you have something called as swings there, many other things. Then if you come down, you can see lang and util package. One separate line is kept for that lang and util package. Next, below that you can see math, collections, many things you can see. Then at the end you can see jar. What is jar? Probably you will understand. Jar you have, zip you have, many things it is showing. If you ask me, sir, what is this? See, this is entire JDK. This is what your JDK has. Your entire JDK has this in the top level. In the top level, your entire JDK has this only. This much is your Java software. This much is your JDK, actually speaking. Now, if you want to know how you should work with this, how a compiler works, what a compiler does, click on Java C and see. You can just click on that and see. What are swings if you want to see? Click on swings and see. What is that math class if you want to see? Click on that and see. For example, lang and util package. Let us click on that lang and util package. Click on that lang and util package. See, like this it will open. There you see java.lang package. Below after 4 or 5 you can see java.util package. What is there in the java.lang package? Let us see. Click on that java.lang package. Look at it. You have something called as interfaces. If you will scroll down slowly, you have classes. See what classes you have? Boolean, your wrapper class. Your wrapper class is present here only in java.lang package. Below that you see byte class, character class, like that only if you come down, double class, like that if you come down, float class, like that if you come down, integer class. See there. Probably you have something called as math class, you have something called as object class. Look at it. You have something called as string class. See, all this is present in lang package, which is present in Java library of JDK. Say suppose you want to see what is there inside string class. Well, you can see, click on that string, look. This is what you have in string, it seems. String class is what you have, it seems. See there, you have something called as fields, you have something called as constructors. All these are the string class constructors. Like that if you come down, you have something called as methods. Look at those methods. Caret, contains. See how many methods are there? All the methods, most of the methods you have used, most you have not. But all these are the methods present. All these are the methods present in string. Look at the, read at the descriptions if you want. What that method does, what it returns, everything is given. Like that if you want, you can go to some other package, what is there, what are the methods is there, everything you can see. Everything you can see. Go back, go back, go back, go back. See, again you got the index. All this full, if you know Java. See, this full, if you know Java. Do you know all this full, you know? That is the difference. How much ever I can in this 45 days, I would teach. Rest you have to come to my place or join to the full stack development course. And you may will have to learn. But whatever you are seeing here, this is full Java. This is full Java. This is what you have to learn. Oh, okay, sir. Why this we have downloaded? Why this we are using, sir? For many purposes we can use. Again, I am telling you, many things I have told. How it works if you want to cross check, you can see this. For example, you want to learn collections now. What is collections? What all are there in collections? What methods are there if you want to see? Just click on collections, go there inside that and see. For learning purpose, this would be very, very helpful, and especially in the full stack development course, I will tell you to research on few things. Whatever is present in Java, I will tell you to research. Research on this and come. Where you will research? Why to Google it? When you have the documentation prepared by the Java people itself, by the creators of Java itself. Go here and research. Best 100% idea you would get. Many users are there with respect to Java docs. I hope I am completely clear about what is Java docs. It is just a documentation prepared by the company which owns Java. In PDF format also you would get, but this format, whatever we have seen now, the static HTML page format, it is very interesting and easy to see the documentation or view the documentation. It is really very easy. I hope I am completely clear about what is Java's documentation. It is just a documentation of that JDK, because JDK is also a software. How to use that JDK, what and all components are there in that JDK. Just to know that, you can use Java docs. Please download Java docs today, now itself you download it. See what and all things are there in that. See if you can recollect whatever I have told with respect to strings, with respect to other things, whatever we have learned till now, whether it is correct or not, by looking into the documentation. I hope I am clear. This session I would be stopping it here, hoping that you will download Java docs and see it. We'll meet you in the next session. Until next session, please do take care of yourself. Happy coding and goodbye.
Yes, ma'am. I have taken a big risk, you can say. I can't explain, ma'am. I'm completely speechless because this is my first IT company. So many, ma'am. I have listed. I have a full list. Ma'am, so many companies, like 2 pages I have written. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Debashish Das. Basically, I'm from Rourkela. I was born and brought up in Rourkela itself. Then I have done my graduation from National Institute of Science and Technology, Barampur, Odisha. Then I have done my post-graduation diploma course in power plant engineering from National Power Training Institute, Faridabad, Delhi, NCR. I was relieved from my second company. I have resigned from my second company, which was so at that I was trying to entirely shift to IT sector. And at that time, my younger brother suggested me to join Codeness because it has a lot of opportunities in IT sector. Transformation was not that much easy for me because being a electrical and electronics engineer, I was more into core subjects. But I have built up interest in during that course in IT. I mean IT subjects. My expectation was only job because I have already lost my job. I have resigned from my job in the last job where I was. As much as possible, I have to gather from Codenest, and I should be placed in a good company with a handsome salary. That was my expectation from Codenest, and that is fulfilled. That is fulfilled also. Huh. The persons who are new to CSIT or this background, they feel really comfortable by the type of teaching they get here because in Codeness they start from zero, from scratch they start everything. And one more thing also, ma'am, I got discount in the August batch because at that time Independence Day discount was going on. So many, ma'am. I have listed. I have a full list. I have so many companies, like 2 pages I have written. The professors who are taking our classes like Python, then Java, and the SQL ma'am. Everybody, and who are in the back end, who are serving us, who are helping us in the placement drive. To all of them, my hearty congratulations that they are doing a great job. And the people who get job, I don't know how can I express my feelings. Their family members will be super happy and they give blessings to Codeness. Like I can say that it is the best for the guys who are searching for job after BTech. So it is the best platform for job opportunities in India, I can say. Actually feel very comfortable from the first day onwards because for a non CSIT guys, actually the teaching process is very comfortable. They can understand the things from very basic, from a very basic thing. So according to that, the teaching style is absolutely perfect.